Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.
What happened?
You...
I knew we wouldn't be in sync. I knew we wouldn't be in sync.
I don't want to be in sync. I don't want to be in sync. Oh my good. Oh, do you know what? That's
But
fine.
I actually thought we were so in sync that I couldn't hear your clap. I couldn't hear your clap at all because I clapped at exactly the same time from what I could hear on my side.
This is the intro to the podcast. I don't care. We should have been way more professional about this, but this is way funnier. Welcome, everybody, to the first ever episode of Banana and Bear Rugby Podcast.
Way!
I'm Tom
Pull
O'Mahony,
yourself together.
and there's Anna Capeless. How you, Anna?
Well, hello from my wardrobe.
I'm from the shed. We're two of the classiest sewers that have ever done a rugby podcast. But yeah, if anybody will have seen our collaborations or come across our collaborations in the past, we have, of course, gotten on very, very well. And this, of course, is a rugby podcast, but it's a rugby podcast with a difference because myself and Anna are a bit different in that we actually enjoy a bit of crack when it comes to
Speak
rugby.
for yourself.
And now.
Sorry, I'm interrupting your wonderful intro. Go ahead.
I wouldn't get stressed about that either. It's kind of all gone off the rails.
Well, we don't. Sure, but look, we already decided we don't have to play by the rules. We're going to do it our way. We're going to enjoy shooting the shit about rugby, getting involved with our listeners, and yeah, do you know what? I'm so excited for the Six Nations and for like 2023 in general. It's going to be an unbelievable year of rugby, and this is going to be like the perfect way to like tie it all up and like catch up every week and talk about rugby and talk about things on the pitch, off the pitch.
I love it because this is the thing. I've been wanting to do one for so long, and I never wanted to make my other podcast about rugby because there was other people involved and stuff like that. And then you came along. I was like, what the perfect person. And our planets aligned 2023. And it was like, Tom, and literally on New Year's Eve, you messaged me. You were like, listen, man. Okay, you didn't sound exactly like
New
me.
Year's Eve,
Yeah, you messaged me. You were like, Tom, let's get this done. Let's get a rugby podcast going.
We could play it actually. You could play the voice note. I'm sure we still have it.
I'm sure I actually do. I'd say I actually do, but and I will find. You know what? I'll stick this in. And it's like, hey, you were very, very excited. And I went, yes, great, we are on. And the thing is, you can talk sports all day long, and as we've agreed, anoraks ruin everything. They ruin everything. They take the crack out of it and they put it down on paper in numbers and digits and statistics and all the rest of it. Whereas in reality, sport is supposed to be about a right good crack.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, but you know what? A fair play to the nerds as well. Do you know what? Do you ever listen to some of the other podcasts? And my God, they can talk about, they know so much about it, and I'm fascinated by it. But also, like, I completely agree. Like, sport is, we love sport because it's like, it gives you an outlet and it gives you a connection to other people, and actually, like, having the crack like ties in so well with sport that actually, you can listen to all the stats and figures and all you want, but having the crack around sport, like, especially coming up to Six Nations now, I'm buzzing. So that's why we're here to deliver.
And that's exactly it, because in all fairness, I don't know if there's much more room in the market for people who can actually deliver statistics and deliver all the rest of it. But we said we'd work to our strengths. But the reality is, in all fairness, Anna, you could be dropped into any place and be absolutely accepted. I'm a comedian. That's what I do. I'm a comedian. So, yeah. But I mean, you actually played rugby for Ireland, for God's sake. So I'm just hanging on to Anya's coattails throughout the rest of this series. The series which will cover the men's Six Nations, and provided myself and Anna don't fall out, which in all fairness, we're in two different countries right now, so we should be fairly good that way. We are going to hopefully then plow on. If once we've gotten the men's one out of the way and we've gotten good at this, we can then do the women's Six Nations after that.
Oh yes.
I'm getting very, very into women's rugby as well, because I love finding new sports, and it's like watching a new sport. You know what I mean? So, and then you
Yeah.
tie in the love of the Six Nations. But before we get to all that, most people will know Anna Caplis, aka Caplice, which for our non-Irish listeners, where
Oh, yeah.
you're the coolest person I know right now.
Right now. Oh.
I'm telling jokes at the weekend to just, wild people in darkened rooms here in Ireland, but you're out playing and coaching rugby in Spain. Like, please don't go on. You may as well make me absolutely jealous. Or is there some brutal bit? Is there something brutal? Or do you want to make me feel a bit better about myself? Or is it as class as I think it is?
It's fucking freezing.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fucking freezing my hole off. I mean, like, so if you were in Spain and wanted to be as close to Ireland as possible, this is the town you'd come to. Like, I'm not even joking. It was -1 degree last night. It was minus a few more the night before. It's yes, very cold. But I was in Madrid last week, and I was also freezing my fucking hole off. It's just very cold here at the moment. But apart from that, so I live in a town called La Coruña, which most people will know from the soccer team Deportivo La Coruña.
Oh my God, you said that. Wow. You didn't say that at all from Mallow. Like, that wasn't from Mallow at all, the way
No,
you said
it's
that.
funny actually, because I can say it in the Mallow voice because I've heard it in the Mallow voice. I'm one of those like dickheads who, when you're talking and
Do you
like,
say a beat?
we better not drive down that cul-de-sac. Like, I'll have would you want the coffee and a croissant?
Oh, you
So,
okay.
no, I'm not that bad. Now,
Okay.
sometimes it depends. But I feel like a fool if I say like a word that's supposed to be said in the Spanish way with my Mallow accent. So I struggle with that. I have to assess who I'm around before I decide how am I going to pronounce this word. But like before I came, people were like, "Oh, Deportivo La Coruña." Oh yeah. But now that I've lived here a while, I'm like, I can't say it like that anymore.
Say it correctly. So
So
the full way. Go on.
Deportivo La Coruña.
Oh my God. Oh my, yeah. I'm not even gonna like. I will give you. Yes, I will absolutely back you on that, because like things like accents and stuff like that do drive me insane when they're not done correctly. But there's an internal Irish person in me that out loud saying, "Look, like there's
I
something
know.
in me where I'm going, shut up, you
Do you
bollocks." Like,
remember? Do you ever hear that Russian? It's like a Russian correspondent. I think he was Irish or maybe American. Actually, doesn't matter. But had a normal like English speaking accent and was like something in the Russian party and Vladimir Putin.
yeah.
But it's the same problem I have, so I totally empathize with that guy. But his was very, very like, come on now, you could have dialed it down a small bit, like. So anyway, that's
And
how I
what's the
struggle.
ruggers like? Even though you're freezing your arse off over there, what's the crack that way like?
It's grand. The league I'm playing in, it's actually very kind of up and down kind of results. So like the team at the top of the league loses to the team at the bottom of the league, and so it's jumping around a lot, like where we are in the league. So at the moment we're 7th out of 8, which isn't great. So we've got a lot of work to do. Um, the standard is different, certainly different to the Prem and the AIL. But like not too far off, like some incredibly talented players, but just not enough knowledge around the game across the board, I
Yeah.
think. So like obviously some fantastic players and a lot of knowledge that exists, but in general, like it's such it's up against so many other sports, like
God, yeah. I mean,
like, yeah, I was down coaching the young kids, and it's what's gas about it is that like the girls and boys play together until under 18.
wow.
Yeah, which I find shocking. But the thing is, with under 18, kind of under 14, 16, 18 boys in Ireland, and they've been training for kind of rugby for a long time. They're much bigger than the girls. Like, there's
Oh yeah,
no way the girls should
just
be
when you
going
said
in.
that to me, like the
Yeah,
monsters at 17, like
exactly. They only, and I think it's because there isn't that like training rugby culture here, you know, of bulking. The players aren't that massive, the young guys aren't that massive, and like same carnage. It was like Forrest Gump, you know, when like all the fans are like this way when he's learning to play. But you're like, that's exactly like the kids at home. That's got nothing to do with rugby knowledge. That's just like training under sixes. My God, it's absolute carnage. Well, and I love it. But you know, I was chatting to the coaches and they were like, oh, you know, recruiting for rugby in Spain is such a challenge. And I was like, sure, it's the same in Ireland, really, especially with women's rugby, in certain parts of the country, etc. And then you look over at the other pitch, and like the other pitch, they're playing football, like playing soccer, and it's just thronged with like kids.
of course.
And yeah, and there's so much football and basketball and handball and things like that. But even like the kids, as soon as the rugby ball drops on the floor, they all swing the leg back, ready to boot it. Like it's just their natural instinct. And like between, you know, when they should be warming up doing rugby drills, they're playing soccer with the rugby ball, like.
Oh Lord.
So yeah, let's guess. So
It's going to be a different. I can't wait to see the week on week differences in the challenges. So are you all? Is this a province you're playing in, or are you going to be all over Spain? Is the league from all over Spain?
it's all over Spain, but actually I arrived mid-season, like a mid-season transfer, and
Oh,
I missed most of the away games, so I missed the trip down to Seville.
you
I had
missed
one
anywhere to
trip.
get warm.
No, I fucking two away trips to Madrid. That's all we have, because there's a number of teams in Madrid. So 2 away trips to Madrid. One of them already where I froze my bollocks off, and then the next one where it probably will be slightly warmer when we go to Majadahonda,
Oh,
in
excuse.
Madrid.
My week
I'm
is.
just about to say Madrid, like in an Irish accent. I'll
And
be
how?
saying next week I'll be like Madrid.
All right, so
Oh no, like we butcher everything. Like.
but sure, look at. I mean, we're not even speaking our own language, for Christ's sake. So in all fairness, you know. But
Do you know what I'm gonna do in the summer?
Mm.
I'm going to go to the Gaeltacht. Do
A refresher.
an Irish course for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I love
But-
Irish. Like,
But you speak Irish well, don't you?
not really. No.
Do you not?
No.
But what were TG Carr hiring you for?
But sure, they need Bear Lorry or whatever.
Oh, of course. So you're the Marcus Horn down on this.
I was the Marcus Horn. Yeah.
Marcus.
Yeah, not as good looking.
Oh, yeah, of course. Like, I mean, good Lord. But not even a stick of Irish does the man even attempt. Not even Kupla Fuckle.
I have the Kupla Fuckle, but the thing with TG Carr is they have an English speaking, a lot of people who watch the rugby and TG Carr, and they're literally waiting for the Marcus Horn part.
I suppose.
You know. So they haven't a clue. But you sure, that's expected. Like, most people don't speak Irish.
It's
and especially
fair.
when someone's speaking Irish fluently, like obviously the commentators are unbelievable Irish. So obviously they're like, a lot of them, it's their first language. But I'm mad to, I just love it. I want to go to the Gaeltacht. I love
Do you know what? I was trying to explain the Gaeltacht to a Kosovan gentleman this morning in the petrol station, because I overheard a kid talking about going to the Gaeltacht. I think the guy, I know him, I meet him all the time, like, but he was again the same thing. He was like, "What is Gael?" So the way he said it, he butchered Gaeltacht. Like, he said it like he was trying to bite the corner off the table beside me. Like, he just in his Albanian, his strongest Albanian, while he's saying this, but I was trying to explain what it was. Like, he goes, "Why you go there? Why you need no?" I said, "Well, you speak Albanian, but you're Kosovo." And he went, "Oh, I see." I went, "Yeah, it's yeah." So I mean, I made that cross-border Albanian, Kosovo, and Irish English kind of thing. But I felt good about myself. To be fair, I don't think he fully understood what I was talking about at all until But speaking of, I mean, multicultural trips and whatnot. I was in Mallow.
Oh,
No, I
multicultural down there.
I went down. I had to go to Killarney I was teaching an acting class, and
Oh.
I go through and I'm fine. Mallow's fine. I know how to get around Mallow, because Mallow, if you get into Mallow can be a thing. Mallow's like Silent Hill from time to time. If you get caught in Mallow, you may never get back out of Mallow. That's the thing.
That's what happened to me.
You just found the exit door through the ashes. Yeah, I get. But all good, fine. Taught the acting class or whatever, came back up from Killarney, was coming around, and it said diverted traffic. I went, okay, I'll follow this road. This isn't the one I normally use. Oh my Jesus Christ. Do you know when when you go on and every 30 seconds your brain goes, just turn around and see, can you just turn around.
Which side were you coming in from? Like from my side?
No, I was coming in from Killarney side, and I wanted to
sorry.
get to Fermoy. But these signs that had been put up that weren't there when I drove down there 3 hours previous had been put up. And it took me around the houses and up the road and down Dale. And I thought, this doesn't feel right, but I'll plow on, because generally I think I'm going in the right direction. But then my ears started to pop because I was going up a hill, a really steep hill, into a shitty road. And I'm like, just turn around, Tom. Just turn around.
Was that in the middle of the town?
No, didn't let me actually into Mallow at all. At this time, I wanted to get into Mallow. And before I knew it, it had taken me, I swear on my life, I made easily 64 turns, like junctions. I ended up coming through a forest. I ended up coming into County Limerick through Ballylanders. That's where it brought me.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ almighty. Yeah. And needless to say, added like 45 minutes onto a journey that I didn't want, want to make at the least. But I wasn't cursing you, but I was kind of saying my one affiliation to Mallow here let me down big style. Granted, she's pain, but like, good God almighty.
So I can't even ask you, were they all well in Mallow, because you didn't even get there?
No, I've no idea how they were doing in Mallow. I've no idea. I was just feeling sorry for myself by the time I got back home. But it was, because you're into bandit country, and when you get up into those mountains, you know full well people go missing in them places and they don't get found again. Like there's
great mountain bike tracks up there. Yeah,
I'm sure there is. That's great news to somebody with four wheels of the car who's trying to get home in the middle of the
night. Should I get out and cycle the way home?
See, this is the shit that a free spirit like you says. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, do you know what? Just pull up the handbrake, man, and just go cycling. Maybe before you know it, you're going to end up on the Danube, just chilling. Just
make sure you have your pop-up chair and a coffee maker. That's all you need.
Of course, yeah. I keep them in the boot all the time, just in case I need to stop for a sit down and a coffee. Yeah, it's anyway. Enough about our week. We get into why we're really here. Our love of the Six Nations.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I kind of get a sense.
I was like, why are we really here?
I know.
Why am I inside my?
Why are any of us anywhere? This is for anybody who's going to be watching this on the video. You will see Anna. You won't actually. Do you know what? It's a pity you told us at all, Watcher, because nobody will be able to work out what. Do you know what? I'll do a screenshot and I'll put it up and see, can anybody work out where?
No,
Anna
cut
is.
it out and put it in the last episode. We can let people try and work it out.
Now we're talking. I'll make a note of that.
Beep it out. And all the bad language you've been using.
I haven't used any bad language.
Neither have I.
You have, but that's fine. That's fine. There are local colloquialisms that are allowed with Irish people anyway, because that's the thing I realize is that when people who come here don't speak English, as their first language, they're blown away by how much we swear, and everybody swears. Like everybody, old women swear, dogs swear, like a guy was talking about the weather today. It was a bit cold this morning, getting diesel or whatever. I was like, it's fucking freezing out, isn't it? Like, yeah. And it didn't dawn on me until much later. I went,
No, yeah.
he just, okay, all right. But, you know,
I know.
go with it or don't, one or the other. But
Yeah.
the real reason why we're here is, of course, to talk about the Six Nations, which I get a Santi vibe every year around this time. Like, I get very, very excited. Why, like the Six Nations over even club tournaments or anything like that? I mean, there's nothing like it in the world. Sure, there's not. There's nothing
Yeah,
comes close to it, I
I
think. Anyway.
agree. But I think there's a few factors to that. Like number one, it's like the first thing in the year to happen, and like it's the
Yeah.
first exciting thing in the year to happen. You know, after Christmas and the come down in January, and you know everyone's been doing dry January, and it seems like loads of people were doing dry January this year.
They weren't at the weekend. I can tell you, I was gigging to a bunch of pissheads, but
Oh,
maybe it was just right at the end. It was the 28th, but yeah.
yeah, I just kind of from observing people's like just social media in general, and people were a lot of people seem to be doing dry January, and a lot of people, yeah, seem to break it last weekend for whatever reason. But like aside from that, even if you were doing dry January or not, like I don't know, like this the thing about the Six Nations, it's every year. It's you get all the anthems, which you don't get in
Oh
club
yeah.
games. Um, you get kind of competition between, like, you know, for Ireland now, for example, you know, competition between like players from Leinster or Ulster, like week in, week out, as opposed to, you know, an interprovincial match you might have like every year. It's like real, like testing, like, you know, I have people arguing online about like how many Munster players, Connacht, Ulster,
Yeah.
whatever, should be in there. It just heats up so much. And then like you know, Ireland have a good track record in Six Nations, like the last while, you know, like, so I think Irish people just love it so much, like probably I was gonna say probably more than in other countries.
It's
I
definitely
wonder.
gathered pace here as on an international forum. Like, I mean, our international teams at most stuff doesn't do, we do well with the odd individual, do you know, like boxers and stuff like that on an international level or whatever. But we,
Yes.
as a team, like our football team, not the May West, you know, it's not the greatest. Like, but
No, and but I suppose even with like GA, the calendar's kind of changed, you know, across the last few years. But like Six Nations, you know, it's coming up. Like things like boxing, athletics, like things that we, you know, we enjoy as well and we love in Ireland. You don't. You might find out about them the week of. Do you know, you're
yeah,
not looking forward
yes,
for
yeah.
a whole month. Do you know, we know it's coming. You look up the fixtures. Like what my favorite thing. Now I've never been to Murrayfield.
Oh,
Oh, actually, it was Murrayfield, but not for a men's Six Nations game. We played a warm up game there a couple of years ago, but I've never
that's a
been there
humble
for a
brag in
game.
case anybody's ever wondered what a humble brag is there. It's like, no, I've never been there to watch match. Oh, wait, I was there to play. I played
I
there.
actually, I know, I actually no. I'll take that back again.
Oh,
We played in like a spot of grass alongside it.
okay. All right. Right. You played in the paddock. Right.
Yeah, we played in the paddock, so I've never even been inside it. But you know, when your one stands on top of the
Oh
stadium and
my
plays
God.
the fucking pipes, and then stops, and the national anthem goes a cappella.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
Oh my
God.
god!
Yeah. That's William Wallace stuff. Like, that's where you're going. I'd move to Scotland. I'd move to Scotland, lads, in the morning. That's fine just for that. Never mind their damp weather, their
Yeah.
absolute lack of vegetation in the way of, you know, vitamins and stuff like that. I don't mind. I don't mind. I would, as soon as, and I mean, the health and safety of that, nobody else does it. Stand on the top of the stadium. It's and your
I
man
wonder,
play.
does she have? Well, usually it's a girl, or maybe it's I don't know. Well, the last few years I thought it was a girl. Maybe a boy does it or a man does it as well. But do you reckon they have like a harness attached under their kilt?
See, this is the thing,
Surely.
right? I mean, if like you can't have it coming straight out the bottom of the kilt, it's going to look mental. Like, well, what's that attached to? You know?
Maybe they just have it attached to the pipes.
Hang on to your these special set of pipes. We don't give a shit about you if you fall off the roof. Them pipes, those are the pipes we use every year. So, yeah. I know the flowers got them, but even like the bread of heaven and all the rest, would they all, because they can sing
Yeah,
well in Welsh, in Wales. There seems to be a lot of good
yeah,
singers.
they're unreal. Well, like I say, I haven't been to Murrayfield, but the Principality. Sorry, I have
Yeah.
to say it in the Welsh accent as well.
Oh, oh, oh,
Oh,
oh.
sorry, Principality isn't actually the. It's not sponsoring it this year, or did they, or not, or is that like controversial opinion now?
What?
After all the shite that the WRU have been at, was the Principality threatening to pull out of sponsoring the
The
naming
Millennium.
rights to the stadium, the Millennium. So we'll be
Were
back to
they?
calling
Is
it.
it because I know it's been a scandalous week for Wales, but sure, Wales are never without controversy anyway. They're
I
always,
know.
good God Almighty. If it isn't from way back to Gavin Henson's days and lads wearing fake tan, like, you know what I mean. You're going all the way.
I
Like,
know.
keep it simple. Keep it simple. What?
I know. I feel sorry for do you know, even their domestic game, like, and must be so tough for the players there. Like, I know a lot of the girls have played rugby with a lot of the girls, and it's just, oh, I won't get into it too much. But what I was going to say is Cardiff.
Yes,
Fucking love Cardiff. Oh my god.
I was there for
Uh,
the 2008 Munster one. And
oh yeah.
Jesus Christ, sure, I was crying for about 3 hours walking around Cardiff. Just wanted to, but it's all encompassing when they pull that roof over and everything else. Like, there's no place like it in the world. You know what I mean? It's American football standard. It's like, Jesus, like the sound goes up, like the Seahawks stadium where the sound goes up because it's closed in. You're all in a drum together.
I
So as
know.
loud as you want to make it. So I can
I
only
was there
imagine.
as well in 2008. It was 2 weeks before my leaving cert.
Was it?
It was, yeah. And I went off and everyone else was studying. I was there in 2006 as well. And when I always go on about, like, oh my God, I love Cardiff. I've been to loads of matches there, to be honest. I actually have a funny story about my friend in Cardiff, but I'll save it for the week we play England.
Perfect.
Um, but oh yeah, when I played for Barbarians the first time we played against Wales in Cardiff in the Principality or Millennium Stadium, whatever you want to call it, and like they choose a player to put in the program, and
Yes.
like they put me in the program, and it was just like Capeless loves Cardiff. It's the big like topic headline of the article. I was like, yeah, yes, I fucking do. I love it there.
It's like
I
you're
love
going
the
for
culture.
office or something, like you're trying to be elected. Capeless for Cardiff. Thumbs
Capeless for
up.
Cardiff, yeah. Yeah. They've jazzed it up as well in the last few years. You get like nice coffee and stuff there.
Really?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
fairness, I mean, rugby has gone that way though, where everything's gone. Like the hospitality sectors on everything to do with rugby now are absolutely outrageous. Some of these
Well,
things.
I don't know in the stadium. I mean in Cardiff City itself.
No, that's what I mean. No, like, I mean, but they knew.
Sorry.
Sure, I mean, what's funding Cardiff at the minute? Like, who's
Yeah.
going to Cardiff for anything other than the rugby matches? Do you know,
Yeah,
like,
true.
but
True.
I mean, then you, of course, the anthems. I didn't think to get onto the anthems. The anthems are. I do love the French one too. There's something suave about the French one, isn't there?
And the Italian.
The Italian one kind of tends to go a bit quick. It's like, slow down, guys, slow down. I don't know. They just sound.
Slow down, Tommy.
Just don't crack for speed, but
The Italians are stone made for speed.
But in all fairness, like they sing it with so much pride, and that's, I think, what I get from it is like, oh, we're on here, lads with their eyes closed, and I've seen you, like, there's famous pictures of you singing Ireland's
Oh,
Call with your
yeah.
eyes closed. It's like, oh, she's, you're how could you
Yeah.
not? How could you not be on it? Either
Yeah,
that
I know.
or go dead silent and just go, all right, it's bite down your gum shield.
Yeah. Well, the difficult thing about the anthems for Ireland is that for Ireland's Call, especially, Aronovian isn't as bad, but for Ireland's Call, so as a woman, we just have like different range of vocals, so they need to write a key that's suitable for the girls, because I struggled with this so much, because if you sing it low in the low octave, it's very quiet, like Ireland, Ireland, you can't sing it out because it's so low.
Okay.
No, so
This is
you could
amazing.
choose.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
Phil Coulter, get out your pen.
Do you know what? I actually have an email in my drafts to Phil Coulter for the last few years that I wanted to send to him because I'd love to chat to him about the anthem. But anyway, apart from that, the other options are to sing it out of key, which I refuse to do. And anyway, if I did, or if anyone around me did, I'd start laughing. That happened to me. It happened to me and Nicole Cronin one day, and we were like, "Oh my God, we're never going to play for Ireland again," because we started laughing in the middle of the anthem. Anyway, it was because someone went off key, and it makes you laugh, and you're so nervous. Like, it's not out of disrespect or anything, obviously, but like the last option then, which is always the one that I went for, kind of later in my career, I went for this because I was like, I'm tired of singing this, like, oh. So you have to sing it in the high octave and you go for it. And actually then you see in like the pictures and stuff, you can see you kind of have to stand up taller and you stick your chest out a bit more, and you see it in all the players lined up, and like if the player next to you goes for it, you have to go for it as well. So everyone's it's class, and it gives you a great fucking feeling then, like, you know, like singing. Isn't it weird that like before we play sport we all sing a song together? Isn't it weird?
It is, when you break it down like that, we all sing a song together. Will we sing a song? Will we sing? We'll sing a song.
What should we sing? You know, and it's amazing.
Anna, do you know in the bog? You know that one about the bog? You sing that one, Anna. You know, it is funny, isn't it?
Yeah, and like in Ireland, we get to sing too, and that's because of the political situation that we have had in Ireland. Have in Ireland.
I have had so many people ask me that question: why do Ireland sing too? And there you go. So, I mean, if anybody's kind of, I suppose, an on the fence kind of, I don't know, I'm a rugby fan, but you're tuning into us because this is the right place to find out about rugby. That is the perfect answer. It's to accommodate, in all fairness, it's to accommodate our brethren and sistren from the Ulster province, you know, the Ulster clubs and whatnot, because they shouldn't feel the need to sing our own Navian, which is the soldier song, which is a bit the all-encompassing one written by Phil Coulter was Ireland's Call. I was a bit iffy on it day one, but you know what? Oh, do you know what? So many other nations love it. They think it's the bee's knees.
They love it. They love it. I know people like, imagine moving to Spain into a new rugby club and they find out you're from Ireland. They just want to sing Ireland's Call.
Really?
All the time. And Harlequins, like they couldn't stop.
I mean, you're never going to get it going the other way. UL Bows, couple of English girl moves in, and go, "Oh, we love God Save the Queen or God Save the King." Now, go on, let's all sing it together.
Well, actually, you know, when you were saying there a minute ago, like, how could you not? Well, if you're English, you'd struggle because God Save the King. That someone said we're all going to be singing God Save the Queen for the next
hey.
So it's the worst one in terms of
it is. Yeah, sure. It is.
I suppose if personally you might enjoy it and get a good buzz from it because it's your national anthem and you grow up hearing it, but like in general, it definitely comes last in the pecking order out of all the unbelievable national anthems that there are in Six Nations. Like, it's definitely the best tournament in the world for anthems.
100%. And outside of, let's say, Ireland's Call, you're going to pick one. I already know what you're going to pick. I bet I know what one you'd pick.
How do you know? Because I don't know.
Come on, it's got to be Flower of Scotland. It's got to be Flower of Scotland. It has to be. It has to be. I mean,
it has to be. I love the French one as well, but no, you're right. Yeah. Flower of Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
Flower of Scotland.
And you can't not sing it without an accent. You can't. If you're going to sing
I know.
You're going, what are you doing?
I know.
Which I suppose leads us nicely on. So that in itself, I think, has told everybody why we love the Six Nations. I mean, there's no mystery about it. We absolutely love it for the hype. It's the happiness. I always remember frosty days, cold frosty days when you were small, and you knew the fire beyond, or with the club I played with, that you might get brought away on a schoolboys, a school thing, or somebody would bring you to a match or whatever. You get to see it. But I always think frosty days, and there was nothing better than going inside with the fire on. And now, growing up and, as a child of the 90s, Ireland, was hard enough watch, but still you plowed on. But now Ireland are very easy to watch. In all fairness, like they're very easy to support because, like, oh wait, we've gotten really class at this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gotten really, really good. So I suppose we the way the weeks would move on, we will have segments throughout this. We encourage for listeners to jump on board with our segments because Anna's very creative and very funny. So we are going to have segments throughout this where we're going to pick. We're going to have segments where the likes of we have he'd be right good for, and this will be picking a player throughout, not just Irish, somebody throughout the weekend's rugby who we spotted might be handy at something else just from a move that they pulled throughout the day. I think you had another one, Anna, which was a great one, where somebody who basically you got to look at it. We initially did the working title was look at his dick or
Dick of the day.
Dick of the day. You're very nice for Dick of the day. I think I don't know. Maybe
well, the thing is, maybe I need
nice.
to explain. Maybe I need to explain Dick of the Day a bit more because we used to award Dick of the Day. It's kind of, I suppose I picked it up in the English clubs, like when I played over there. But like, it's kind of actually, it's not a. Let's say you're running to score and you dropped the ball, and maybe not as severe as losing the match in that moment, but something really silly that you did, like on the pitch, or you might have been in charge of like bringing the bottles and you forgot the bottles, something like that. And then come the end of the day when you're having, a drink with your teammates afterwards, or whatever, someone will award you Dick of the Day, and it's actually more a term of endearment. You might be like absolutely like fuming with yourself for dropping the ball, but then your teammates take the piss out of you in an affectionate way, and it's okay. Then you're kind of like, you can be Dick of the Day today, and look, we love you for it anyway. So it's
perfect.
It's I'd never, if it was something really serious like from Six Nations, I'd never pick something on a player that like is personal.
Perfect.
It'll be a term of endearment. Look, he fucked up, but look, we love him anyway. So,
which is indicative of this podcast. We're not going to be going after anybody. Indicative. Exactly. It's indicative of this podcast that it's going to be all based up from crack anyway, regardless. That's perfect. Right. Dick of the Day is going to make it in. And there may be, if I can work out the impression properly, there may be a weekly contribution. I'm going to do it anyway, regardless, but I'm going to do a weekly contribution. I'll leave it as a surprise. Because it won't work until he'll need to pass judgment after the first round of games, because he'll have to watch over. He can't do it beforehand. He'll have to pass judgment. So it'll be on episode 2 of who we will have, and maybe a couple other.
I feel like we'll have many guests.
I think we're going to have it. Yeah, I think we should have many guests. Why not? I'll get I used to be all right at impressions. It's when you have somebody who has definite inflections and stuff like that you can rip. But I mean, we're moving swiftly along. We've actually clipped along nicely, and I think people have probably gotten to know and gotten the gist of the vibes. The weekend that's coming up. Oh Jesus! I must actually also. I was just going to say I'm drinking tea here, and that's the only thing. I need to send you over some Barry's tea, by the way, because you need tea if you're going to be watching rugby. Or you can also get drunk too. But
I'll tell you now my plans for the next couple of weeks.
Yes,
because not so straightforward. Now, I was looking into like buying Movie Star, which is the Spanish channel that shows the rugby here, or watching it on a dodgy box where you have to X out of loads of pictures of like women's tits.
Oh yeah. There's a moment I was watching a match a couple of weeks ago, and I was watching it out here.
Not my algorithm.
And the old man called over to the house, and he was like walking down.
Oh no!
And the door on the office is wide open. He walks in, and it's like this alien tentacle just poking some woman in some orifice. And I'm going, no, this isn't what I'm watching. I gotta get the. He's like, what? I thought you were watching Munster. Like, no, Munster's definitely here.
I know. I was watching the chat. I know. I was watching the Champions Cup on the bus down to that match in Madrid, and I had to, like, something popped up, so I had to X out of it. And when I X out, it's this woman's arse. One of the girls sitting next to me, and I was like, that's not my algorithm. And I don't think she's in my area.
Yeah, I think I got one that was like this.
Oh,
Clearly, this woman in some very hot country was like, and she's, she's lying down half nude, just like Breda in
exactly. That's how I
Tullamore.
knew
You're like,
she wasn't.
you're like, I don't think that's Breda. I don't think that's
Exactly.
Breda.
Girls in your area. Yeah, not a hope. Anyway,
Tell
so
us.
to avoid all this, I have asked the Rugby Club. The Rugby Club here have a lovely little clubhouse in the town, and they're going to show all the matches all weekend.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I will go down there and drink all the beer and all of the. They're like the last day I was there now, because when we were coaching on Sunday, all the coaches went there afterwards, and the barman, who's like, fella from the club, is like, try this, and making me all these like new drinks. So I'll be down there trying all these drinks, watching all the rugby. So if I can't remember the rugby come Monday,
It's fine. That's
I'm
fine.
very sorry.
That's what I want. Actually, I want to hear your belligerent
So yeah,
memories of.
yes.
Do you remember? Do you remember when the crisp ran onto the pitch? It was amazing. I'm like, I don't, but I want to hear more. That's where I want this to go.
I'm not going to be taking hallucinogenics. Anyway, I don't know. I haven't, but you know what? There actually, sorry, never mind. Forget what I was about to say. I'll tell you about it another time.
Yeah, this is
I
fine.
might tell you about it after next week. So anyway, so this weekend is I'm going to be watching in Spain, here in La Coruña. Following weekend, I am going to Bordeaux, because I want to go watch the Ireland French game in a French pub. Some random. I literally looked at where was the cheapest flights to a town in France, and it's like €20 return to fly to Bordeaux. So I'm going there for the weekend to watch Six Nations in some pub down there. And then third weekend, I'm actually back in Ireland at a wedding. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't
Well,
know
I mean,
what happened the last 2 weeks then.
Perfect. I love that, because so the roving reporter, Anna would be.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. That's perfect. But so up first this weekend, obviously, so you're going to get to see as much as you possibly can. You'll get to see Ireland, obviously, versus Wales, and we skimmed over it briefly, but we'll jump to, I suppose, the latter end on the Sunday when we'll work backwards. Italy versus France. France, unbelievable. Few injuries, all right, but I mean, but what I'm very excited, Italy aren't the pushover they were. You watched Benetton play Munster at the weekend. Unbelievable.
I know, it was brilliant. Yeah. I think we have this kind of hope for Italy every year. And I know they're getting better, but so is everyone else, like especially in a World Cup year. I'd only love, and I do feel like the one kind of big chance they'd have of beating France is kind of straight off the bat. Like straight in there, France kind of have their head up their arses. Italy know what they want to do. Let's see. Nearly beat them.
Yeah.
Last year before.
Yeah. And I mean, they clipped Wales last year as well, but an unbelievable solo try that guy had from like his own 22.
Oh, Capuzzo!
Yeah.
So good.
Incredible.
I can't wait to see him play again,
I mean,
and see if he got any bigger, because that fucking jersey is hanging off him.
I know, but that's what I love about it, is that the guy didn't look like he should be there at all. You know what I mean? He looked like he should be playing with the under 14s, but he's just ripped around everybody.
Yeah.
We always have hope for him. And I do think there's this rocket after going up their hole, definitely on the club scene. And I think it might have been at the threat of possibly Georgia being brought in and then turfed out. And, a kind of a round robin to see who'd get in every year, which could make a pig's ear of it. Now, there's talks of the South Africa coming into it. I don't mind the South Africans coming into Europe and whatever a bit, but you can't have them in the city. You can't be you can't be going somewhere warm, roasting warm.
Yeah,
in the middle of the Six Nations. You just can't. It's not right.
No.
But that aside, that's neither here nor there. So I mean, it's going to be a French victory, I'd assume.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, me too.
please God, Italy, give us
I'll go
something.
with Italy. You go France and I'll go with Italy. So
Grant, perfect. I'd say France purely, but I don't think they're going to run away with it. They may even go a little behind in the first half because, as you said, French can
yeah.
have their head up their hole a small bit.
Yeah.
But
they either, the one thing you can't take away from the French is the fact that they're French.
Yeah.
Like they'll either
now
fall to pieces.
more profound stuff from Anna every week. The one thing you can't take away from
Am I wrong? And you
I tell you, Tom, I'm going to say something big here now, and you may want to sit down. The one thing you can't take away from the French is them being French.
But tell me you know what I'm talking about.
I 100% know what you're talking about, yeah. Because they, like, them boys would walk out smoking a fag and put it out and score a hat-trick. Do you know what I mean? And go, meh. They're just on they're a completely different breed to everybody else in the Six Nations. Like,
yeah. But they could either fall apart or literally pull like some magic out of their second arseholes. Like, so I love them. I love France. So, and Italy. I hope it's not a whitewash for the French. I hope you're right there that Italy really put it to them. I hope Italy win. I'd love that.
I do, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't love to see that? I mean, you want to be playing France immediately after that? Maybe not. But I think
but again, it could signify nothing in a French team. It could mean anything then. So yeah, I'll go with Italy. You go France.
Fair enough. I'll take France. Yeah, on the reality basis, I'll take France. So on the Saturday then, just second match on the Saturday in the evening is going to be England versus Scotland, and there's no end of stuff to talk about here because we have Jesus. I mean, Ben Healy gone to Scotland. Can you imagine?
Oh,
can you?
I'm sad about that.
Oh, I'm
delighted for him. I'm sad for Munster. I'm sad for Ireland. He's been so exciting to watch. But like, fair play to him. And it's actually funny because for the first time in a very long time, we've been able to watch someone else in the Six Nations and kind of be like, have a draw for another team.
Yeah,
that never really happens, because of a player.
There was, I mean, I don't think so. Was there one or two had played with? No, there hasn't been. I mean, it was the Irish chap that had played for Italy for a while, the chap with the one eye.
Yes, yeah. Ian
McKinley, and always wanted to see him do well for many reasons. The fact that the man had one eye, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
But to see Ben Healy, sorry, go ahead.
Was he as well known as Ben Healy before he went there? He wouldn't have been.
He wouldn't have been. No, he wouldn't have been.
So it's a strange kind of first time happening this.
Well, that'll tell you everything you need to know on how they rate him when they're pulling him out of training at Munster to come over and train with them in their Six Nations squad. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not just kind of interested in, they're like, get straight in here. Here's your gear. Get straight in here. We're not even joking. Because they see what it would seem that everybody else can see, that he can do things that no fly out of half in Ireland can do. He's got a 40-meter pass off his right and a 30-meter pass off his left at full tilt. He can boot a spiral 80 meters. He takes 3 seconds to line up from the tee.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he weighs 98 kilos and he's 6'2".
It's actually making me sad. It's actually making me sad listening to you say all these things there now about Ben Healy, because I'm gonna miss watching him.
And he's going to flourish. He's going to flourish because he's got a big pack in Edinburgh. He's going to have a big pack in like that guy Schumann. Like, he's going to be behind a serious pack. And if they want to steady the ship, I mean, he can do things that I know Finn Russell's class, but he can do stuff that Finn Russell can't do. He's way more powerful. I mean, from that point of view, it's bittersweet. It's like seeing I don't know, an
Yeah,
ex that you got on with, or somebody doing well with your car, say a car that you just couldn't get any good out of, and then you find somebody's racing it or something. You're like, fair play. He looks way better actually with you with it.
yeah.
Yeah, you
I
know.
just hope he's happy. That's all. I hope he's happy.
That is such a relationship thing to say, isn't it?
No,
I
but I
just want
think
the
in a
best for you.
relationship you probably don't mean it, whereas I actually genuinely mean it for
I
Benjamin.
know, and there has to be that moment too when you're like, can you imagine the decision that is? Like, I mean, that's not an
I
easy
know.
decision. But I suppose you want to play international rugby, you want to play it at the top end. You're looking at the career stats, and you're like, guys don't get more than 20 caps these days. Like this could all end tomorrow. I've got these two ahead of me, and in his head, he probably has his goals booked down. He probably wants to start for the Lions. Do you know that kind of way? And he ain't doing it
Mm,
behind two other lads. So it will
yeah,
be
I
very
know.
interesting to see how he fits into. Would you like? I mean, could you see him fitting straight in? Because he's not a young pup wet behind the ears. He's 23 and he's played a lot for Munster.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know about that actually.
Because Hastings is out injured, and there's really only Finn Russell. And Gregor Townsend isn't a big fan of Finn Russell and his maverick ways, as they say.
Yeah, it's still Finn Russell though. He's
Yeah,
fucking class.
he is class.
But you're right. It will have depend. It'll all be dependent on how these last few weeks have gone. Personally, probably for Townsend and Finn Russell.
Yes. Yeah.
Behind the scenes, it will have depended. It'll be dependent on how that relationship has been in these last few weeks. Because when like you don't get on with someone, a coach or a player or whatever, and then you've spent time away, and then you come back together, and it might be kind of all of a sudden like, well, how are you keeping? Good to see you.
Yeah.
And it might be like just a kind of a right, let's get on with business here, or else it depends on did they clash? Did they not? Do they have chip in their shoulders over each other? I think, yeah, Ben Healy's success depends on that.
Yeah, I guess so. And if Finn Russell can stay injury free because he's
That
30,
too, yeah.
he's put a lot of mileage on the clock, and in France they run you into the ground like a meat grinder. Like, so
I know.
it's to
He's
say
so
he's got
funny, isn't he, Finn Russell? Like in his little belly on him.
yeah,
Like,
he's got no physique, but yet he
yeah,
can
I
pull
love it.
things. I love it. I absolutely love it that he looks like your everyman. Yet he can pull off things. You're going, what? How did you like? You're nutmegging, like in soccer.
I know,
Like,
so
he
class.
ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
England then, of course, are they going to get even more boring under Steve Borthwick? Jesus, he's not exactly the most exciting, but he's brought Steve Bohr. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of faith, it would seem, behind him. Nobody's overly excited in England by the sounds of things either. He was just like,
No, not even England are, it seems. Unless, again, like behind closed doors, they're a bit like, right, let's fuck them all up. I
yeah,
love Marcus Smith. I love Marcus Smith. So I want to see him. I want to see him play because I feel like he'll feature for them a lot in the World Cup. So we'll see. I don't know, to be honest, about England. They kind of are they a bit of a sleeping giant at the moment because there's been so much like unknown about them.
I mean, from what I can see, they've no hooker. They've no hookers at the minute. Jamie George went off concussed. They're out with a couple of more injuries. So I mean, that's a major. You're missing the linchpin of your front row. Marcus Smith's wings are clipped. I don't know what's going on there. He plays like he's made of jelly when he plays for Harlequins, and then he goes and plays for them. It's like, what? It's like,
Yeah, I know.
it's almost like
But
Van Gran when he was over Munster, like he was just keeping everybody inside one little box without
I
letting them
know.
out.
I hate
But
that as well. But
as you say, like, they're sleeping. It's England. It's always, you can always, even England playing shite are going to play good.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's true. We don't know. I think we don't know. Like, but they'll have a massive kind of point to prove, and they didn't do well last year. they've obviously, I wonder, like, was it a case of, like, you know, when they got rid of Eddie Jones, did they kind of get down to the nitty gritty and ask the players, like, okay, what do you want? And like, when when Steve Borthwick came in, did they just get on with rugby, or have they like figured out, okay, this is a Rugby World Cup here now, what do we want? What do we want to achieve? How are we going to do it? And like, you know, actually listen to each other and actually figure it out, because it was a, you know, very strange kind of uprooting to have just coming into a new year. So it a lot hangs on this Six Nations now. Like, are they going to pull things together? Are they going to try new things, or are they just going to, like, I don't know how they're going to do it, like prepare for the World Cup, because that's what this Six Nations is preparing for the World Cup. It actually doesn't matter who wins or loses in the Six Nations, because I know when we get to talk to Ireland about Ireland now in a minute, I'd prefer to see us lose every game in the Six Nations if we can perform at the World Cup.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, this is what this Six Nations is going to be. This is what the beauty of the Six Nations that precedes the World Cup, isn't it? This is having a look at the runners and riders. We get a right look at the ponies and what's the plan. You kind of get a notion of what the plan is. And like you said, we've no idea what's you would hope that England have gotten together. Have they done the Razzie thing? Have they, you know, when Razzie left Munster that time, went back to South Africa and fucking get the more around? Yeah, we'll go to fuck this goes up. You know, it's kind
of the only way to do it as well, because you don't have too much time to like build something from the ground up. So you've got to work with what you have. That means you have to really understand what you have. Like, literally, pull everything away. Pull the pork apart.
I like this. Meat analogies. I like it. As soon as we go into barbecue realm, it's like, okay, we'll park the rugby now, because I'm more than happy to talk about meat. This is great. Great. So we really don't know what we're going to get from. Well, I mean, we're excited for Scotland in the sense that we might see our boy Ben Healy playing. England, we're both. I've no idea. Like you said, did they clean house? Does everybody's ego get kicked out the fucking door? I mean, Steve Borthwick is no dull, and he was doing good things with Leicester. And Conor O'Shea's, it would seem, was the one who went around to the players and went, "Go on, tell us. We get rid of Eddie, will we?" And it would seem, after he got all his notes together and collated everything, the end result was fuck Eddie out and get in Steve Borthwick. So, I mean,
I wonder.
It'll be very interesting. What do you reckon? Do you think, because Scotland have pipped him now the last 5? I think they have 3. I think the old Calcutta Cup.
Yeah, let's go with Scotland.
Okay, fair enough. Just to be an odd bastard, I'm going to go with England, because I don't know. I have no idea. It's not. I would easily go with Scotland as well. This isn't going to be us against them, but I'm just really interested to see what sort of rugby they're going to bring, and if they would just let Marcus Schmidt, just let him off, so we can actually watch something that's worth watching. Rather than just booting it up into the air or just one out fucking muck. But anyway, the one that's really intriguing us for the weekend, of course, is going to be Ireland versus Wales. What a basket case with Wales. I mean, Ireland seem like, if you looked at it, we look like, I think we're kind of like a hot mom. Do you know what I mean? Who has got a really good family around him and a nice car and a really good career. And you can bank on her every time you need something for her to do something for you, like fucking write a strongly worded letter and still look class all the time. Do you know that kind of way? Whereas Wales for me right now are like something like a 90s rom-com where I don't want to wait for love to be like, I don't know what, like Gats went off, made a bollocks of himself with the Crusaders or whoever he went to because he won nothing. Rennie came into not Dave Rennie, I beg your pardon, that was the Australia. It was God, what was the poor man's name? He got turfed out in his ear. The Welsh coach, Pivac, he came in and Wales they parted ways, like, and the next thing all of a sudden they've realised that, oh, do you know what? I still love him. I still love her. Maybe we should.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Gats is standing outside the Millennium Stadium with a boombox over his head. And just a boy
In the
standing here
rain.
in the rain. Just a boy standing here asking a girl.
Yeah, with the note cards.
Yeah. It is though, isn't it? Like they did shit without each other. And then now they're running across the field and they've just hugged. Wales and Gats have hugged again and they're rolling around. But like it's got to be built on sand, surely, is it? It's got to be built on sand.
You'd wonder what was the first meeting like, the first team meeting when he walked back in, and there's obviously, you know, a lot of new players, but a lot of players that he's very familiar with as well. Like,
Yeah.
what
Like-
was the vibe like? Would you be like, do you know,
Yeah.
like a teacher who left? So, do you know, you talked shit about the teacher after they left, and you said things maybe that you didn't even mean. You're just like, you know, talking about the teacher, and then
Yeah, he
they come
smelt
back
anyway,
and
like.
you've said all, you've said all these things, whether you meant them or not, and then it's like, so what are things?
That's fair awkward the way you did that. It's perfect. It was perfect. It's
Yeah, I feel like that's how
Sheesh.
I'd feel.
Uh,
You know, going back in.
do you still
Maybe not.
you still take your coffee the same way, do you? Yeah, no, you do you first. And yeah, cool. Hey, what about that weather, huh? Yeah, Jesus. Like the
Yeah.
small talk must have been pants at the beginning. You know,
Yeah,
like
I'm actually getting secondhand embarrassment thinking about it. Like coming back, it's like coming back with your tail between your legs. Like
it is a course. It is a course. I can do this
Oh.
on my own, and then it's on a world stage. It's not like he went off to some club in Papua New Guinea and nobody. He went off to like, you know, Super Rugby and
Did he
Wales
want to
staying.
go home? Wasn't
He-
that it? Like, I want to go home. Isn't that what he said?
True, but at the same time, how much must he have loved home when that huge big check? Because they would have had to pay off Pivac, and then not only pay off Pivac, they would have to pay off the Crusader, whoever it was. Was it the Crusaders he was with? No, it wasn't Crusaders because they're class.
Chiefs.
It was the Chiefs he was with.
I actually don't even know if that's right.
It
But
was
you're-
it was
It wasn't the Crusaders. I feel like saying the Chiefs, but I
No,
actually
it's not
don't
the
even know.
Crusaders because he's Razor, what they call your man Razor.
Dempsey.
But it's questionable here, but at the same time he's a class coach. But they brought him back. Like, how much to pay off both sides and then give Gatland a huge check? So I mean, it's Wales kind of going, I love you, baby. I swear to God, I could change. You know what I mean? I won't. Like, is this Chris Brown and Rihanna? Is what I'm trying to say. Is this going to end badly between them again? Like, as if he doesn't pull this off in the Six Nations, because this is the second coming of Jesus to these people. There's people would literally cut themselves for Warren Gatland. But if Wales have their trousers pulled down during the Six Nations, what?
I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry too much, and I feel like the only team that's going to be like, we've got to perform is Ireland.
Probably,
Everyone else kind of has nothing to lose. French don't give a shit. Italy, you know, whatever. They'll take what they can get. England, Wales, yeah, maybe Scotland too. Or sorry, not Wales. Sorry, yeah, England, Wales. They're like, okay, we're building something, so actually we'll take what we can get as well. Whereas Ireland, I think, have this kind of inferiority complex now.
Yeah,
You know,
I guess so. Yeah, that's it again.
win or else. But actually, I feel like maybe not, and maybe that's not how they're thinking. And I genuinely, whatever happens, you know, we take it or leave it, and we'll obviously celebrate wins and losses. But you know, for Wales, doesn't matter.
It
Actually,
doesn't, I
doesn't
suppose.
matter.
Yeah, because they've been so shite for the last 2 years, anyways. Anything.
Pressure. They can do whatever they want. They can play however they want.
Then they'll probably play class then as a result of that.
Maybe, yeah. That's what you'd hope for. That's what I'd hope for as a player. You know, coach come in and be like, lads.
Let her rip.
Yeah, exactly. You know, imagine, like, instead of, because obviously Gats, like, he doesn't have the answers. Do you know, a coach that comes in and like, right, do you know what I've got here in this little envelope? The secret to how we're going to win.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that. No one actually has that, even though a lot of coaches pretend that they have that, and they fucking don't. And they're telling someone like Marcus Smith exactly how to play, but Marcus Smith got to where he was because of how he can play.
Yeah.
And then this man comes in and tells you, oh, you have to do exactly what I say. That makes no sense. So we'll see if Gats is able to kind of let the players, not like the players have achieved much, but like, are they going to be able to work together to be like, right, what can we make work here?
Be very, again, very, very interesting. I mean, they've always got big units, so they're going to be okay power wise. Up against, we don't know what's happening in because I know one of the Irish hookers is he had to go home. He's after pulled up injured, so they're after bringing up the Ulster chap, the young guy.
Yes.
We don't know what's happening in the centre really at Ireland at the minute because Robbie Henshaw is out. The backup Aki hasn't played because he's had a falling out some which way with Connacht the last, so he hasn't played in a while. So I mean, it ain't like you're dropping in. Do you think he'll play alongside Ringrose? Because Ringrose has turning into like a superhuman at the minute.
Yeah, I feel like you could put Bundyaki there, no bother. Maybe I'm wrong saying that now, but I don't know.
Well, they've Stuart McCluskey as well. He's again another unit from who has been playing very well. He's been playing consistently very well for the last couple of months. Like, so I'm very interested because it was the one position that's the only one position I can comment on. Number 12.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I ever knew was how to play there. Anywhere else, I was like, oh, I'll take your word for it. It was,
yeah.
And I mean, McCluskey isn't shy of getting the big old long arms free either for an offload. I mean, and if you've Gary Ringrose waiting outside you, you're like, lovely. If you can get it away to him.
Maybe you're right. Then maybe that's the combination they'll go for. But again, it's when it comes to like the selection comes out and everyone's like, what? But he's playing so well and da, da, da. But it's because we don't see what's going on in training. And whether players gel well together or not, because like if you're playing well in your province, you're not playing with the same bunch of players around you. So I don't know. There's so much speculation. I've actually been listening to and reading stuff about all the speculation. I suppose the same as every year anyway, and it's because people love it, but like really no one has a clue.
Any positions that you think are kind of up for grabs, or is it settled at the minute, other than that, because of an injury? Anywhere else that you can think of, even forwards or backs? What's your back row?
No,
what's your back row right now? Being a back rower, what's your back row right now for Ireland?
I actually don't know. I actually tend not to get too hung up on selection.
Yeah.
I'm never like, oh, they're in, they're out. I'm like, oh, right, whatever. I never think about it too much because I know that that's the case. Like that, in terms of like, we don't know what's going on. There's no point you saying like, oh, they've been playing so well for Munster, so they have to start for Ireland.
Yeah,
like
of course.
Never, and I never understand it. Then when I see someone playing so well, someone like Peter O'Mahony now, and then he's on the bench for Ireland, and you're like, but it's hard to compare how he was performing for Munster and who's Caelan Doris or whoever is like playing for Leinster, and like how can you compare? Like it all comes down to, so I actually don't know.
This is where you'd have the inside track than your average budgie walking the street just looking at it from the outside in because their favorite guy isn't in. You're like, no, I've been in camp. Trust me, people can play out of their skins and gel correctly in camp because you have a back row that needs to gel. Things like that. 2 second rows need to gel. A front row needs to gel. Like all these things, it's a knock-on effect. Somebody might be amazing.
And it's really hard to really fully test it as well because first of all, you're kind of saving bodies. So you can't go like full out 80 minutes, like let's kick the shit out of each other. Or you're doing, it's hard to know like truly, so you have to go on a lot of instinct, a lot of like personal relationship kind of stuff, and not with the coach, I mean like on the pitch, like if how players understand each other. So I actually, yeah, it's one thing for me, selection. Like, it's been so interesting listening to it, because I'm like, God, people get very like that now. Like, I think he needs to play, and I think he did so well for Ulster, and I'm just like, okay, cool. I don't know. I don't know
I
what's going to happen. I'm
I
just happy for the players that get selected, and I feel sorry for the ones that get left out, and I'm like buzzing for the ones on the bench. So that's always how I feel about it.
I guess it's a the curveballs this year, I suppose, for people who aren't on the inside or have to know, was the likes of Joey Carberry getting left at home, Keith Earls, and who hasn't played really at all much, and Conor Murray and Jacob Stockdale. Now, Stockdale's barely
Yeah,
played at all, and if he did, he didn't get much of a crack at it. But like, we have
yeah,
no idea what's going on behind, because when you look at it on paper, you go, okay, yeah, he's 6'4", he's over 100 kilos, and he can cover 100 meters probably in under 11 seconds. You're like, either way, you can do something with
yeah,
that guy. You know,
yeah.
the other, the two lads, the two boys, I guess, Keith Earls, it's Keith Earls. You know,
I know.
it's
I
apparently a
know.
great squad man, and that's a lot of why they'd have him around. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
but
it is, but it's funny, and a lot of people saying like, oh, it's because they're contracted, and if that is the case, it's tough for anyone who kind of just missed out. If they felt like they've been playing better or whatever, but like, I don't know. You need the experience as well. Like, you need, yeah, and I've heard that about Keith Earls as well. And um, God, whether they'll play much, then like, I don't see much game time for Keith Earls. I don't know about Stockdale. Like, again, we haven't seen, like,
yeah,
he's obviously training, and we can't see that. So, and like, they obviously won't give anything away. I think when we read the team, you'll be like, oh, okay, obviously he hasn't been training well, or obviously he trained well. That's all you can say.
this is the exciting thing. It's like the magician. Not we don't. I don't. The truth is, like, I have people who are very friendly with, who are super nerds, who want to know all the gossip behind the scenes, and I never do. I almost don't want to watch the halfway match. The half punditry. I kind of just want to see. I
Yeah,
want the magic to be there.
yeah,
It's. I'm only asking you because, truthfully, you've been on the inside of camps and played for Ireland. But in
yeah,
reality, I'm happy to just kind of go, okay, what's coming next?
yeah,
Because you don't want to see
yeah,
behind the curtain at the panto. You don't want to see you want to see him.
yeah. Agree,
You want to see the full
agree with that.
regalia. So
And I think that, like, yeah, it's just people like to know everything, and people
yeah,
like to have one up on someone else because they thought he was going to start, and
yes,
that's what they, maybe not, maybe I'm wrong with that, but for me, I never get too hung up on. I'm interested to see it and be like, oh yeah, can't wait to see him play or whatever, but I never think too much about it. But like, talking about Joey Carberry, oh, I just feel incredibly sad, like, to all the talk about him, and he missed out, and everyone was so shocked. Like, it just, like, thinking about the phone call that he must have got, and
oh,
conversation, and how he felt after he hung up, and his place. I've been an awful lot in my career, and I just
right,
feel so sad for him. Like, and again, I'm testament to this as well. Like, it doesn't actually, it's not a pin in anything. Like, it's just how it is in the moment, and how Andy Farrell is feeling in the moment, and things change very quickly, and he knows that as well. So, like, and he's got enough experience to kind of back up anything that he might have to do down the line in terms of coming in and performing. Like, injuries do happen, and there's
well,
still a World Cup later this year with a lot of players to kind of get
yeah,
there.
you
So he's definitely still in the race for it. Like, yeah.
yeah. Here's the thing: I wouldn't get stressed about Joey. The linchpin will be 38 come the World Cup, and if he can last all the way, I mean, if you're a betting woman, I mean, he's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. But at 38, the one guy who they're all going to, I wouldn't get overly stressed, especially after I saw Joey Carberry's confidence go through the roof when he got put at fullback for a couple of minutes against Benetton. Got
Yeah.
sent back to fullback when Bren Healy came on. just it's like it was like a mental decay was just pulled off his brain. You could see him was like, now we're off to the races. And then when he had to switch back to number 10 because Healy got yellow carded, he was trying shit all over the place. He was emptying fellas with tackles and stuff. It's like, where you only need 10 minutes of confidence. Wow. And you can be guaranteed that's been spotted by the Irish coaches too. They went, oh, so that's what you needed. Isn't that, so I wouldn't get stressed, Joey.
Probably more of a feeling of like, okay, I know what I have to do now. I've got to do exactly what the coach is asking me. And then he's like, switched around and just gets this like different kind of a sense or a different view of the game. And it's probably just like, fuck it, I'm going to play the way I know how to play. So, or the way I want to play and the way I want to play with the team that's here. So, yeah. Interesting.
It's going to be interesting. But the main thing is both of us in agreement that we don't really want to know at all. We actually just want to see rugby for rugby's favour. Don't want
to. What I want to do someday, and I'd love to see Ireland do it as well, even though obviously this will never happen. Put all the names into a hat and we go number 1, Johnny Sexton. Yeah. Number 2, whoever.
Craig Casey.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I'd probably give it a
go. Because there's like, what other position would you play or what? But I'd love to just throw all the names into a hat someday and play a game like that. But imagine Ireland did it someday, just like for the crack.
Yeah.
Imagine their last game. Who's their last game? They were just like, look, it's Paddy's weekend. Get
England,
one of those.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. Run down to the pound shop there and buy one of those green hats. And throw all the names in. And this is how we're going to beat England. Yeah. Oh, imagine that.
Oh, yeah. Now, that'd be worth watching. Jesus, yeah. Can you imagine? Can you, even to wrap your brain around that, if they all, what's the regulation even on wearing the right jerseys? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, even if they just for the crack, like, say you just, the scrum half walked out wearing number 1 on the back going, yeah. Do you know, American footballers can have whatever number they want. They can have 69, man, on their back if they want. Can you imagine just going, nah, I just fancy being number 1. But you're the scrum half. Fuck yeah. Is there...
doing that in sevens now. Do you know in sevens you can pick your own number? I'm not sure I like it. Because it's obviously less important in sevens to have a,
yeah, because everybody's kind of...
I'm not sure I like it, but in terms of having the players walk out there like, no, the ref comes in and he's like, where are the front rows? And everyone shuffles over and he's like, what?
It's tiny little fella go, yeah.
No, this is it. This is what we're going to do because it's Paddy's weekend, okay? So we're gonna do things a little the Irish way.
So who you going for? Who you go for this weekend? I mean, we know who we're going for, but I mean,
do we have to split the...
No, we do not. We do not. We don't.
Okay, fine.
Ireland too. I think Ireland will have too much from, but they won't run away with it, I'd say, either, because not that it's always tempted to be a coach too, because if you were a horse trainer, and you knew you'd 5 big races over the next 5 weeks, you wouldn't flog your horse week 1, No, I mean, it'd be very hard to tell 23 blokes going, put it in 5th gear, lads. Or, yeah, I know, but
yeah, I don't...
is that ever...
That's on the agenda? No.
Probably not. No, probably not. No. I'm talking about my whole... Yeah, hence.
But no, it's not bad to consider, but I think that if you are in 5th gear, it's because that's unintentional.
Okay.
It's just because you're not gelling or whatever, but I don't think it's because you're like, take the foot off the gas, because that happens anyway. Because if you went 2 scores ahead early on, you'd spend the rest of the first half running around and then probably start performing then 10, 20 minutes into the second half because there's changes going to be happening and you don't want to come off. So
yeah. And there's a perfect insight into a player. If anybody wants to know why did they get a purple patch and why did our it's because desperation wasn't there. Yeah,
that's it. Well, it is and it is isn't. Sometimes it all depends on like how you're feeling, what way the wind is blowing, like what players have a personal like have to, whereas if you do go a couple of scores ahead and you try things, and yeah, maybe keep it away from the forwards a bit so you're getting to not like bash it up, but like you're definitely not from the word go, it's 100% like or nothing.
Yeah. So I think we're both on the vibe that Ireland are probably going to do it, but it is in the Principality, or currently the Principality, whatever they made the Principality. It may or may not be that come the weekend. I mean, their CEO shit the bed and had to run out of the place given the controversy and whatnot. But we're not here to talk about that kind of stuff because,
I think it's bullshit. That's what I want to say about it.
It is. It is.
We spoke a little bit about it already. Yeah, let's enjoy the tournament for what it is, and I think Wales probably learn a lot throughout the tournament anyway. Like, kind of about themselves and about like how they want to be. So, Six Nations is a good time to kind of raise these things and be like, kind of realize why you're there as well. Like, look, we just want to play rugby. Like, stop being a dick.
Yeah.
We have our first dick of the day.
There we go. We have our first dick of the day. So, as we said earlier in the show, if we after this weekend, upcoming weekend,
show's still going.
It is still going. So after the weekend of the 4th and 5th, if you have a dick of the day or a he'd be right for, or if you have any more comments to give on it, you can follow either one of us. We will be setting up an Instagram and Twitter page and all the rest. But for the minute, I mean, we both have personal pages. So it's I can't say Banana Capeless. Banana Caplice has to be the way I say it. Like, I don't know why. It's
yeah,
like,
it rolls a bit better.
It does, but it's also like how you and your Spanish ways of saying, like how you.
Yeah,
and I'm as bog basic Tom O'Mahony as you would like. So find
Vladimir
Putin. He is a very good man.
Change your name to Vladimir Putin if you want.
I should actually, yeah. Yeah, maybe not in the current climate. I might give it a miss. Do you know what'll happen? Our podcast will just end up being just riddled with bots because
your shed and my wardrobe will be taken out.
FBI knocking on the door. I think we're kind of safe enough. But if you have any of those or you want to get in contact with us, of course, if it's your first time finding it, hit subscribe. And if it's on Spotify, which it mostly is, and for the most part, people listen only on Spotify these days, give us the 5 stars in the rating. And less than that is no good to Anna or myself. No good. We can do nothing with less than 5 stars. So give the 5 stars. As well as that, hit the bell so it arrives into your phone every single Wednesday. If you're listening on any other platform like Apple or something like that allows you to comment, do. But hit a screen grab and tag us in it because Apple is all over the world and you might be in Australia listening to this and we'll never get to see it. Let us know what you're thinking, how you're having the crack with us on the podcast and whatnot, and what you think from the weekend's games. Anna, do you want to sign it off in a proper way?
Slán.
There we go. I was thinking, she's going to say something very Spanish, But no, that's perfect. Slán.
Slán.